If you've played old school RuneScape before, you may know that the vast majority of the NPCs you meet are fans of consuming alcohol. Across every region, you can find several establishments built for the sole purpose of serving precious alcohol to its citizens called bars, and I'm here to find the best bar in all of Gielinor. Today, we're going to explore the bars in the Misthalin region, in which we have 6 to visit, that being the Blue Moon Inn, the Dancing Donkey Inn, the Jolly Boar Inn, the Varrock Ratpit Bar, the Long Hall, and finally the Sheared Ram. But what are the qualifications that make a great bar? I've broken it down into a simple scoring system based on a few key aspects. We'll start with addressing the location of the bar, as nobody wants to go too far out of the way just to get a drink. Then we'll assess the general decor and layout of the building, as that can play a big role in comfort and enjoyment. Lastly, we'll go over the menu options being served, as a larger menu gives the patrons more options to enjoy. With all that being said, let's get into it. Our first location on today's journey is the widely recognized Blue Moon Inn, located just southeast of the Varrock Square. This location is about as good as it gets without it being directly placed in your living room. The bar resides straight off the main road that leads to the southern entrance of one of the most bustling cities in all of Gielinor, Varrock, the capital of Misthalin. For that reason, I'll be giving the Blue Moon Inn a perfect 5 out of 5 for location. Moving on to the decor, we can see a modest blue and natural wood theme directing the seating area, with a blue rug, wood tables, and wooden stools upholstered in that same blue color. I do find some of the table and seating locations a bit questionable, as one of the tables seems to be missing a stool, and another stool is placed a mere inches away from an active uncovered fireplace. But the understated design of this space is otherwise harmless. I'll give it a 3 out of 5 for decor and layout for its borderline random table and stool placement, but otherwise perfectly adequate styling. Lastly, for menu options, this bar only serves 2 items, beer and cabbage. Now, I can understand a bar not wanting to serve proper meals, but I find only offering an entire raw head of cabbage borderline insulting, especially coming from a cook whose attitude is reminiscent of a father who hasn't seen their kids in 15 years. I'm giving the Blue Moon Inn a 2 out of 5 for menu variety, as they do technically offer more than one option, which bumps it up 1 point. That leaves this iconic bar with a total score of 9 out of 15, which is mostly carried by the weight of its great location alone. I would only really recommend paying a visit if you find it convenient or happen to need a particular tool for slaying old vampires. Oh, and I would advise against asking the bartender anything about fortunes, as his delusional ramblings will only lead to confusion and are not to be recognized. On to the next location, we have arrived at the Dancing Donkey Inn, which is located at the very southeast corner of Varrock. This location strikes me as odd, as it is quite a bit of distance from any main walking path, but there does seem to be some housing close by, which would make it quite nice for the lucky few. That luck doesn't stretch very far, however, as there is a gate to enter the courtyard where the bar resides that is protected by a single guard who has been standing watch for 23 years straight, on the lookout for suspicious individuals. Now, I'm not too sure what a suspicious individual is supposed to look like, but you would think that he would have found who he was looking for by now. Due to the limited access, I can only really give this location a 2 out of 5, but if the guard does ever decide to move on to greater pastures, I may reconsider this score. As for decor, well, there really isn't much of anything here. We have a single faded jade-colored rug in the center of the seating area and a total of 3 tables, but seating is only provided for just 2 of the tables. Beyond that, the flooring seems to be hard-packed dirt and the window shutters are in disrepair. The only positive attribute I can offer for this depressing establishment is that the bar is adequately clean, as long as you ignore the 2 fully poured beers that haven't been claimed by anybody in over 20 years. This gives the Dancing Donkey Inn a 1 out of 5 for decor and layout, its single point carried by cleanliness alone. Finally, the menu options are quite slim, as this bartender will only offer you a standard beer for the price of 2 coins, a fair price for a lackluster selection, giving it a 1 out of 5 for menu variety, as they are actually selling alcohol. Our total score for the Dancing Donkey Inn comes out to a depressing 4 out of 15. The only people I could possibly imagine decide to visit this sad excuse for a bar are the local alcoholics that can't be bothered to walk a mere 100 meters to a significantly better pub. Or perhaps you're just looking to simply pay a visit to some of your gambling buddies, although I can't imagine they're going to show up anytime soon. Located northeast of the Varrock city wall, just south of the Wilderness Ditch, we arrive at the Jolly Boar Inn. This technically puts it on a main path, but this path is only taken by those who frequent the wilderness, which in 2025 consists of approximately 7 people. For its lack of foot traffic, I'll have to dock it a couple points here, leaving us with a score of 3 out of 5 for location. The decor and layout is quite interesting, as we have an appealing yellow rug towards the entrance of the building, followed by a staggering 8 tables and 26 different places to sit, and that's only in the main area. If you go upstairs, you'll be greeted with more yellow rugs, 2 more tables, and 14 more chairs hidden up here. Now, I don't know about the management of this establishment, but I would have a hard time imagining there is a logical explanation for the Jolly Boar Inn seating budget beyond some sort of accounting error. This location is very spacious, however, and the layout is very well spaced and inviting, and the styling is modest but not offensive. For that, I'll give it a 4 out of 5, leaving off a point for not delivering anything unique or special, beyond a chair count, of course. Lastly, the menu leaves quite a bit to be desired, as they only offer the humble beer for consumption. This fact makes me question why they have a kitchen at all, not to mention with another cook who manages to somehow be more insufferable than the one found in the Blue Moon Inn. Regardless of the cook's dire need for a Snickers, I'll have to give the Jolly Boar Inn a 1 out of 5 for menu variety. This bar receives a final score of 8 out of 15, which is just 1 point shy of matching the Blue Moon Inn. This bar does have a significantly better interior than its cooler-colored brother, but it is clearly held back by its location, and they are both held back by stubborn culinary professionals. The bartender of this bar does address the delusional ramblings of the Blue Moon Inn's bartender, further solidifying the idea to steer far clear from his mental perversions. The next bar on the list only counts as a bar because the wiki lists it under the list of bars in Gielinor, and its location is just abysmal. Located underground inside a manhole beside the Dancing Donkey Inn, and only accessible after partial completion of the dreadful Rat Catcher's quest, that gives the Ratpit Bar a 0 out of 5 for location. As for decor and layout, there is no decor, and the layout consists of a crate with 2 drink spouts and 2 wooden bar stools. I don't think it can get much worse than this. 0 out of 5 for decor. Miraculously, there is a light at the end of this acrid tunnel, however, as the menu does offer both beer and stew for sale, which gives the Ratpit Bar in Varrock a 2 out of 5 for menu variety. That leaves us with a grand total of 2 out of 15 points for this bar. Unless you happen to be here against your will, I advise you stay far away from this disgusting place. Unless, of course, you're in the mood for stew, in which case, be sure to bring your nose peg at the very least. Just southwest of the world-famous Grand Exchange, across River Lum, we enter the Long Hall in Barbarian Village. Being located right off the main path of travel for anyone heading to or from Varrock, but being inside a smaller town just a bridge away from the city puts our location at a solid 4 out of 5. As for decor and layout, we have a very Fremennik-inspired theme here, with wooden tables and stools, animal pelt rugs, and walls adorned with a couple trophy bullheads. It delivers a familiar yet unexceptional experience. Due to its simplicity, lack of color, or much variety at all, I'll have to offer the Long Hall a humble 3 out of 5 for styling. As for the menu, well, technically there isn't one. In fact, nobody is really sure who owns this building at all, not even the wiki. You can speak with Atlas to receive further strength training for 25,000 coins, but beyond some stale beers and an old steak on some of the tables, there's no bartender here to serve you. There is a keg to the east of the main door, but I cannot advise you to use it without permission, as the local population can be a bit abrasive to tourists. I cannot in good faith offer the Long Hall any score higher than a 0 out of 5 for menu variety due to these conditions. A final tally brings this bar up to a 7 out of 15, which is just below the average that we've been seeing today. I can't really recommend anybody visit this bar, as there isn't anything here for you, unless of course you happen to live in the local area. And if you do, and you know anything regarding the owner of this establishment, please reach out to me or the people at the wiki as soon as possible. Thank you. Our final bar can be found due north of the Lumbridge Strip, directly along the main path near the famous bridge that the city gets its name from. I think it's pretty clear this gives the Sheared Ram a perfect 5 out of 5 score for this location. Moving on to the decor, this quaint establishment offers a similar experience to other bars in the bigger cities of Gielinor, with nicely upholstered wooden stools, wooden tables, and a hard wood flooring. The layout is perfectly reasonable as well, with 3 tables, 7 stools available for sitting, one being near the west entrance, possibly as an extra in case business picks up. This is a perfectly usable space, and there's nothing here that rubs me the wrong way, so I'll give it a 4 out of 5 for styling and layout, leaving off a final point for lack of creativity or uniqueness. Unfortunately for the Sheared Ram, that is where its praise ends, as our menu consists solely of the humble beer we all know too well. I will give it a point for actually having a bartender and alcohol to sell, but nothing more for a 1 out of 5 menu variety. This timeless bar receives a very respectable 10 out of 15 for its humble consistency, clean and uncomplicated layout, held back solely by a lack of variety offered by a single bartender. Perhaps that's fine for the local patrons, but I prefer to have a bit of variety when I visit the local pub. I would recommend anybody looking for an ice-cold beer to check out this classic bar. Some have even spotted adventurers from the Great Krend here sometimes, along with a local treasure hunter by the name of Arthur. Now, for the final rankings for all the bars in Misthalin, we will start in last place with the Varrock Ratpit Bar, with an underwhelming yet expected 2 out of 15 points. Next, we have the Dancing Donkey Inn, with just 4 out of 15 points. Next, we've got the Long Hall in Barbarian Village with a total of 7 out of 15 points, despite somehow not even selling any alcohol, which is impressive. Following, we have the Jolly Boar Inn with 8 out of 15 points, which is the bar to go to in Misthalin if you plan to host a large event, as they will certainly have available seating for you and your party. The penultimate bar is the world-renowned Blue Moon Inn, held back simply by poor arrangement and management with its 9 out of 15 points scored. Finally, the best bar in all of Misthalin is the Sheared Ram, located in the heart of Lumbridge and boasting a solid 10 out of 15 points. It's really hard to go wrong here, as this is an excellent place to stop in for a drink and to get to know the locals, unless you're looking for anything other than a beer, in which case you would be unfortunately out of luck here. And there we have it. Next, we will explore the bars in Asgarnia, another step in our quest to find the best bar to visit in all of Gielinor. Thank you so much for watching, it means the world to me. If you liked this video, feel free to drop a like down below, and if you want to see more content like this, subscribe to get notified when I post more videos. Thank you again, and take it easy.